Okay, I've recorded this so many times, but I kept messing up, and then either the audio on my computer didn't work or Blender didn't work. But we have a mannequin. We're gonna start off by going to add, go to mesh, and add a circle. Now don't move anything, change the vertices to 4, and then you can move it to the side. Now we're gonna go in edit mode, which you can click at the top or click tab, which is much easier. We're going to now rotate it by clicking R, Z, and 45. Now we're going to go back into object mode and scale it down until it's the thinness you want for how thin or how thick you want the ribbon to be. Now we're going to take this rectangle and convert it to a curve so we can bevel it to the path later on. Now we're going to add the path, go to add, curve, path. I'm going to move it up. Now we're going to go to curve, and under resolution preview, I'm going to set it to 5, but you can do 4 to 6. Since Roblox does have a 4,000 triangle limit, it adds up pretty quick, so I would not recommend using 12. Now we're going to go in geometry, bevel, object, and use the eyedropper tool to select the rectangle. We're going to shade flat, which didn't work the first time for some reason. I'm going to scale it down using S, but you can also use the scale tool on the side. I'm gonna rotate it, so R, X, 90 degrees. Now I'm gonna make it smaller, so I'm gonna click Alt S instead of just S, because S will change the size but not the thickness of your path. Now you're going to go to top view by clicking the button above tab, which I don't know what it's called, and we're going to start moving it into a elongated teardrop shape, or however you want the bow shape to be. Now I'm going to use E to extrude so we can add vertices, and it should look like the teardrop shape that we are going for. Now I'm going to move some things up so there's more variety. We're going to make it more dynamic. I'm going to use Ctrl T to twist so everything's lined up. So now I'm going to scale down the first vertice. I use proportional editing, which is this button up here, which is kind of hard to see, but that's proportional editing, which is also O to toggle it on and off. I'm going to scale it down, and now we're going to duplicate, which you can use Shift D or right click. Then we're going to mirror X global so that it's symmetrical, and if you want more asymmetry, you can also mirror it on the Y-axis. Now we're going to duplicate it again, click down so it doesn't move, and I usually delete these two end vertices so it doesn't get confusing, and then I would just adjust the other one, so I'm going to do that right now. Now that you got the shape you like, duplicate it again and mirror it on the X-axis. I like it more asymmetrical, so I'm going to adjust it a bit, but you don't have to. Now we have the base of the ribbon done. Now we're going to add the middle part, so what we're going to do now is go to add, go to cube, and we're going to scale it down and move it to where the bow is. Now I don't need it in the center, but if you do want it, you can always line it up. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Usually I put 2 knots, but for simplicity, I'm just going to make it 1. I'm going to select all the sides and move it up, but you can also use the scale tool. Now I'm going to move some of the edges so that it fits the model a bit better. You can also use vertice select, and now I'm done with that. We're going to select these 4 edges. You can hold shift to select multiple edges at once. Now we're going to do Ctrl B to bevel, and you can scroll your wheel depending on how many times you want to split it. I'm going to go with 3. Now that we have it beveled, you can just click down to make sure it stays that way. And then we're going to select everything and put it into a new collection. Now we're going to duplicate the collection, and this is the one that's going to be converted to a mesh. So I'm going to select the paths, which are these 4, go into UV edit, and paths are already unwrapped, so you don't have to do anything much. Just convert to mesh, tab to go into edit mode, select A for all, we can scale down and move it to the side. Now for the middle part, it's also should be unwrapped if you use the cube. So you can just select everything and move to the side. Just make sure the two UVs don't overlap each other when you select everything. Now we're going to join everything, which you can right click and join, or it's Control J. So now I'm gonna shade smooth, and since it kind of looks weird, we're gonna off smooth, but if there's still sharp parts, you can change it to 35 instead of 30, or just keep going up until it looks not rough. I forgot to mention during the recording that you also have to fill in the ends of the ribbon on the bottom because the caps are not filled. So just click the two edges and click F to fill. And I'm going to move it onto the avatar so you can see that you can rescale it and everything. Just position. Now that's positioned, we're going to go into material preview and add a color. Usually you would put the image texture if you textured it, but we're just going to go with a color texture this time. And yeah.